Hey, what's up guys? John here. I've been saying for a very long time, probably a year, that something big is going to be brewing in the real estate market. I just didn't know what it was. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the eviction moratorium that was going to be the nail in the coffin, forbearances, if there was going to be more closures, if there was going to be, who knows, some black swan event. Well, what they're doing now, on top of everything that's already been done, is they're now going to be raising property taxes. And depending on where you live, you could be greatly impacted. It could go from 3% increase to 6 to 10%. Sky's the limit, really. But they're saying that they need to do this because cities don't have the funding. They need the funding. So how can they get the funding? By going after property owners. Look at this article. It just came out. This is really important information for people that are thinking about either buying real estate. Maybe you own a property, you're not sure if you should sell it, or maybe if you're looking to buy a rental property. People really need to take into account big factors such as landlord-tenant laws and the restrictions on how much they can increase your property taxes, as well as overall business acumen, what you're allowed to do inside of the areas that you invest in. So homeowners, to see higher property taxes thanks to the pandemic, here's what they can do. This year, housing boom has presented a financial windfall to sellers and an agonizing ordeal to buyers. However, even homeowners who stayed put may be affected by being hit with higher property taxes. Average property taxes rose 4% in 2020, according from data from real estate information firm Adam Data Solutions. Housing experts expect the jump to be even higher in 2021 as more communities that lost revenue due to the pandemic are scrambling to raise new funding. Raising home prices may allow them to cash in on going forward. Metropolitan areas in Alaska, Colorado, Washington, Georgia, and California saw some of the highest price shocks. In Anchorage, Arkansas, for example, average property taxes rose by $987 or 26.2% in 1 year. It's going to bite deep into both homeowners and landlords. Pocketbooks and reassessments kick in and send property tax bills soaring, says Brian Davis of Spark Rental, a firm that makes software for landlords. Property taxes are expected to increase about 6.5% in 2021, according to a Real Appeal, a company that helps homeowners appeal property tax bills. The larger financial burden will have the hardest impact on homeowners who lost their jobs during the pandemic, elderly residents living on fixed incomes, and those struggling to get by in the face of rising inflation. Every tenant will pay the price, as at least a portion of those tax increases are expected to be passed down to them in the form of higher rents. So even the people that are living on fixed incomes, people that are getting on Social Security, and now what we have is this inflation issue, people are going to be getting hit on all ends. And that's why we see articles like from Bloomberg where they say that America should become a nation of renters. It's because they realize that property taxes, everything is going to be going up and people won't be able to hold on in most circumstances. So they're trying to get people used to it. It says then, average property taxes are the lowest in the South, with Alabama coming in at the cheapest, average of $841 a year paid in 2020, according to Adam. The highest are Northeast California and Texas, with New Jersey topping the list of a whopping average tax bill of $9,196. Taxes can be even higher in particular areas such as Westchester County, where the annual property taxes are easily $24,000. $24,000 for property tax. Many of our clients who are older, living off Social Security and pensions, are beginning to wonder whether or not they'll be able to remain in their homes as property tax bills continue to rise. However, higher taxes are not expected to hit all parts of the country equally or all at the same time. Property taxes usually get collected by local jurisdictions, counties, cities, towns, school districts, or special districts like water authorities to help pay for a myriad of services, from the fire department to police to the library. These jurisdictions follow different schedules for when reassessing home values and updating tax bills. It's just so important that if you are thinking about investing, that you're studying that market now more than ever. Moreover, many states and counties offer ways to ease the tax burden, whether through property tax exemptions and relief programs for veterans, disabled people, and senior citizens. I wonder how easy it is to get on that list. I have big reservations about how easy that would be. We've met thousands of property owners that aren't aware of these benefits exist, and as a result, leave thousands of dollars on the table every year. Where property taxes are rising and why? The main reason that taxes rose in 2020 and are likely to rise again in 2021 is the soaring housing market. Median home prices shot up 7.2% year over year in 2020 and are estimated to rise roughly 11% in 2021 compared with the previous year, according to Realtor.com data. White-collar workers and suburbanites flocked to larger houses in the suburbs during the pandemic. Property taxes are usually calculated as a percentage of a home's taxable value. When home prices go up, local governments have a larger tax base, lending to higher bills for homeowners. But first, the local tax assessor has to update estimates about how much each home in the area is worth. As a result, says Sparks Rental Davis 2020 housing boom, we will take a couple years to fully translate into dramatically higher property tax bills because of counties that reassess property values every few years, often 3-year intervals. So imagine we step into a recession in the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, and values drop, let's say 30% or 40%. People are now going to be taxed at an increased tax bill higher than what it is now as it gets increased for the next few years. So it's just going to get harder and harder for people to hang on. The top 10 metros with the highest property tax growth. So, a lot of people are moving here because they're getting out of the big cities. In addition, 34 state laws on the books that restrict how much taxes can go up in a single year. Some of these are restrictions on tax levies, meaning the government can't collect more than a certain amount of revenue. Other states have restrictions on assessments, meaning there's a limit on how much the taxable value of your home and thus your tax bill can go up in a single year. States have put in place 2 types of limits to mitigate these increases. Levy limits that restrict the amount of taxes that can increase, and assessment limits that restrict the growth in the value that is taxable. Here's the breakdown of where you should be buying, where you should not be buying, and maybe potentially selling. These limitations can make it hard to predict exactly which states will have the highest property tax bumps in years to come. There's no straightforward answer as to what's going to happen to homeowners' taxes in post-pandemic world. In California, for example, assessed home values, which affect how much homeowners are taxed, cannot go up more than 2% a year until a home is sold. Florida limits the growth to 3% a year, while Texas is 10% a year. Property taxes could rise substantially going forward. While a more than 4% property tax increase last year may sound like a lot, it has the potential to go even higher. Home values are often reassessed by local governments and taxes go up or down accordingly. Tax rates also change as pandemic-related expenses and budgeting shortfalls put pressure on some localities increase their tax rates in the coming years. In Seattle, for example, residents saw their average tax bill go up $633 from 2020 to 2021 as county officials bumped the tax rate. In addition to increasing home values and assessments, we're seeing many county tax jurisdictions increase their property tax rates as well to bolster their revenues after suffering from reduced collections from other sources. While residential properties have increased in value due to the lack of available housing, commercial properties took a hit during the pandemic as workers abandoned office buildings and consumers stayed away from shops and restaurants. Local governments may have to lean more on residential taxes to make up for a loss in commercial revenue. So the more that things are closed, the more homeowners and property ownership is going to suffer. The homeowner is going to pay more because of Starbucks is paying less. Take Pittsburgh. In the city, about 150 office buildings downtown make up about 1/3 of the property tax base, says Robert Strauss, a professor. If only 80% occupied, that creates financial problems for the communities, says Strauss. They have to themselves do the work they want and go after the homeowners. The Urban Institute and DC-based think tank that carries out economic and social policy research found that 36 states saw total revenues fall between March and August 2020, which could turn into pressure for local governments. You know, what's interesting is they close it down, then they send out their people to then reassess where they think property taxes should be. However, the picture was not entirely bleak. 8 states actually saw growth in total revenue. Data was unavailable for the rest of the states. In addition, 12 states reported higher income tax revenue. This trend may be because the people who earn enough to pay an income tax in the first place are more likely to have steady white-collar job that can be done remotely. So here's what you can do. What can homeowners do to fight property tax increases? This unpredictability in the economy combined with Byzantine tax laws can make it hard for homeowners to really know whether their taxes are going to go up in the coming years. Everyone thinks property taxes are simple and ho-hum, but for homeowners, it's one of the hardest to understand. What homeowners can find out for sure is whether they're eligible for a break in their property taxes known as a homestead exemption. It lowers taxes for homeowners as long as they actually live in the property. It does this by reducing the taxable value of your house. This means even if the house could sell on the market for a certain price, it's taxed like a house value at a lower price. 46 states for Washington, D.C. have some kind of homestead exemption according to Tax Policy Center at the Urban Institute of Brookings Institution. I wonder if that gets retracted or if they try to find a way around that because they're going to need revenue. If people are working from home and everyone just has one primary residence, how are they going to fund the policies that they want? You may qualify for the benefits that will help keep you in your property tax bill management by reducing the taxable value of your home, reducing your tax rate, or locking in the taxable value of your home so that it cannot be increased in future years. In the state of Texas, homeowners can score a $25,000 homestead exemption. Disabled and elderly homeowners are eligible up to $10,000 exemption for school district taxes. Once they receive that exemption, schools remain frozen and can only go up as long as the homeowner still lives in the house. Meanwhile, in New York, seniors who make less than $50,000 can have the taxable value of their home reduced by as much as 50%. Homeowners across the country who believe their home is being assessed for more than fair market can also appeal the tax bill. Taxpayers get mad, says Carnegie Mellon Strauss. As a result, it's just a matter of self-interest and the time homeowners, the people who bought the houses, start litigating. So I think that this is going to be a really big challenge for people that are investing in real estate in certain areas. This is the time to not only know the landlord-tenant law, but know your rights as a property owner in every single state, county, and jurisdiction that you invest in. We're stepping into uncharted territory. I think there's going to be really big changes coming, and I think that they are going to be very desperate to get every single penny that they can, and the only way that they can do this is likely increase in taxes. So drop your comments below. Let me know what you think about all this. Please smash that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content and educate more people that are thinking about investing in real estate. Consider subscribing here. Also consider subscribing on my second channel, my personal channel. I'll leave the link pinned down below in the top comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.